Voters are trying to keep a candidate for Congress off of June's primary ballot. Republican State Senator Coram turned in petition signatures to qualify for the primary against Republican Congresswoman Boebert. 4 voters in that district want a judge to remove Coram from the ballot based on issues they have with his petitions. As politics guy Marshall Zellinger shows us, history suggests he could be taken off the ballot and then put right back on.
Congressional District 3, which includes the Western Slope and southern Colorado, is represented by Republican Congresswoman Boebert. She qualified for the June 28th primary ballot at the Congressional District 3 Assembly a week and a half ago. Republican State Senator Coram qualified by turning in more than 1,500 registered Republican signatures. A new lawsuit by 4 voters in Congressional District 3 seeks to get a judge to invalidate some of those signatures. Some of the reasons include the voters who signed were not registered Republicans, notary issues with the person who notarized the petitions, signature discrepancies where the voter listed may not have actually written their name and signed it, and perhaps most notable, circulator address issues. The circulator, the person who collects the signatures, must put their permanent residence address at the top of the petition. This lawsuit challenges that some of the circulators put different addresses, thus every signature they collected should not count.
He needed 1,500 signatures to get on the ballot. The Secretary of State said that he got 1,568. So if the challengers can prove that 69 of the signatures are invalid for some reason, then he'd be thrown off the ballot.
Constitutional law attorney Christopher Jackson explained this case is slightly different than one we reported on 4 years ago, when Republican Congressman Doug Lamborn was briefly taken off the ballot by the Colorado Supreme Court because one of his petition circulators was not from Colorado, even though the voters who signed the petitions were legit.
That should be a lot more important than who's holding the clipboard.
A federal district judge deemed it unconstitutional to require the signature collector to be from Colorado and put Lamborn back on the ballot.
The Lamborn case, the federal court said that petition circulators, they don't have to be residents of Colorado and they don't have to be registered as, Republicans or Democrats in Colorado. And no federal court has addressed whether if a circulator just gives the wrong address, are those petitions invalid.
One of the results of that previous lawsuit was a change in state law to not require a Colorado resident to be the circulator. This is about the address they list regardless of where it is in the country. And Steve, there is a deadline of next Friday before the Secretary of State has to start mailing ballots to military and overseas voters. So expect this to move swiftly through the courts.
It's going to be pretty quickly. What do we know about the 4 voters who filed this lawsuit?
Not much about the voters as much as I know about the law firm. It's brought by a former Deputy Secretary of State, Suzanne Taheri, who now works for Maven Law Group. George Brockler is also listed as an attorney. Maven Law Group, separately from this, has been paid $75,000 over time over the last year from Congresswoman Boebert separately for legal fees. And now these 4 voters have gone to a law firm familiar with her to try to get something that could benefit her. But the Congresswoman is not a part of this lawsuit.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. Marshall, thank you.